love to write haikus. I'll go on a little bit. And I have a little book of haikus, actually. And I'll just try a few of those on you. I do stick to the 17 syllable. I mean, it's the only rule, really. And there's a lot of American poets, they call them haiku, and they're not 17 syllables. And it just seems that if you have a frog in a pond, it's a haiku, or it's just something funny happens in nature. But what I like about the haiku is that there's this restriction. It has to be exactly 17 syllables, and the haiku, like the sonnet or any other form, is a naturally uncooperative form. It doesn't care about my self-expressive desires any more than it does yours. And so then it talks back to you, or it just refuses to speak to you. And so that you're in a kind of negotiation with this thing that will outlive you. So I'll just read a few of these. Just offshore, 5 ducks. I raise a hand in salute, and they rush away. If I write spring moon or mountain, is that haiku plagiarism? A cloud glides over the face of the moon, sound of the belled cat hunting. I've got 2 of these that have titles, and haiku are not supposed to have titles. It's very immodest and very, very boastful and Western to have a big banner over your poem there. And this first one isn't even a haiku, but what the hell? We're Americans. This is called Haiku Truck. Haiku Truck. 17-wheeler. And this one is called New England Haiku. New England Haiku. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He... Then there's... we drank many cups of strong coffee, still no mention of the money. And 2 more. Well, 2 more. Midwinter evening, alone at the sushi bar, just me and this eel. That would be very poignant, actually. And then this last one. So many nicknames for you, but none as lovely as marijuana. So I'll just read a couple more, and then we can. It's amazing to see all you people just stretched out there. It's fantastic. And you're all safe and all that. Yeah, okay. You can hear me, and then. Okay, watch out for those motorcyclists or whatever. So let's read a couple more. I don't know what, but well, there's I'll read this poem called Japan, which is it's a poem that's actually about a haiku, so that might fit. And it comes in 3 stanzas. Japan. Today I passed the time reading a favorite haiku, saying the few words over and over. It feels like eating the same small, perfect grape again and again. I walk through the house reciting it and leave its letters falling through the air of every room. I stand by the big silence of the piano and say it. I say it in front of a painting of the sea. I tap at its rhythm on an empty shelf. I listen to myself saying it, then I say it without listening, then I hear it without saying it. And when the dog looks up at me, I kneel down on the floor and whisper it into each of his long white ears. It's the one about the 1-ton temple bell with the moth sleeping on its surface. And every time I say it, I feel the excruciating pressure of the moth on the surface of the iron bell. When I say it at the window, the bell is the world, and I am the moth resting there. When I say it into the mirror, I am the heavy bell, and the moth is life with its papery wings. And later, when I say it to you in the dark, you are the bell, and I am the tongue of the bell ringing you, and the moth has flown from its line and moves like a hinge in the air above our bed. So I'll read two more, and then we can get off the street. Amazing. This is, poetry is supposed to be a kind of. No, I'll read this other guy. This is better. This is a poem about sort of what kids do in the summertime. It's like a habit that I think they're getting out of. It's a dying, not really an art, but a craft, and it's called the Lanyard, and it's oh, you know that one. And basically, I sort of back up. Often in writing a poem, so much can take place in the mind of the poet, between the initial little drop of or quiver of inspiration and the final product, that the reader is not in on it, and that accounts for probably like 43% of why poems are often frustratingly hard to understand, because there's all that intervening thinking and situational stuff that you're not in on. So I tried to start this poem sort of with the circumstances of how it started, true to fact anyway. So it's called The Lanyard. The other day, as I was ricocheting slowly off the pale blue walls of this room, bouncing from typewriter to piano, from bookshelf to an envelope lying on the floor, I found myself in the L section of the dictionary, where my eyes fell upon the word Lanyard. No cookie nibbled by a French novelist could send one more suddenly into the past. A past where I sat at a workbench at a camp by a deep Adirondack lake, learning how to braid thin plastic strips into a lanyard, a gift from my mother. I had never seen anyone use a lanyard, or wear one if that's what you did with them, but that did not keep me from crossing strand over strand again and again until I had made a boxy red and white lanyard for my mother. She gave me life and milk from her breasts, and I gave her a lanyard. She nursed me in many a sick room, lifted teaspoons of medicine to my lips, set cold face cloths on my forehead, and then led me out into the airy light and taught me to walk and swim, and I in turn presented her with a lanyard. Here are thousands of meals, she said, and here is clothing and a good education, and here is your lanyard, I replied, which I made with a little help from a counselor. Here is a breathing body and a beating heart, strong legs, bones and teeth, and 2 clear eyes to read the world, she whispered. And here, I said, is the lanyard I made at camp. And here, I wish to say to her now, is a smaller gift, not the archaic truth that you can never repay your mother, but the rueful admission that when she took the 2-tone lanyard from my hands, I was as sure as a boy could be that this useless, worthless thing I wove out of boredom would be enough to make us even.